people get involved in your campaign. They say, you know what, I love this woman, I love what she's doing, she's fighting for us. This is John Villarreal reporting for Conservative New Media.
I had an exclusive interview with Sharron Angle, who is the Republican U.S. Senate candidate in Nevada, who's running to retire Harry Reid and send his sorry rear end back to Searchlight, Nevada, and get us nice control and sanity again and some decorum in the U.S. Senate. So we're going to play that for you right now. This is the Conservative New Media video of the week. Check it out. Conservative New Media viewers, we have a very special treat today, and this is also a video and audio for the John D. Villarreal Syndicated radio show. We are joined by the lovely and gracious Sharron Angle, Senate candidate for Nevada, who's going up against Harry Reid. Sharron, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, John, for asking me. This is a wonderful privilege and a pleasure to be with you.
No doubt. Now, we've got a lot of things to go through. I know we're tight on time, so I wanted to start with the most important thing here. Nevada, the state that you're running in, we know that it's got the highest unemployment rate at 14.3%, the highest foreclosure rate in America, the highest bankruptcy rate of any state in America, and I'm just sitting here, and our audience believes that, you know, you just can't afford Harry Reid anymore. Nevada can't afford Harry Reid anymore. And isn't this the Harry Reid that didn't really say much or do much when Obama attacked Vegas, not once but twice? And here we've got Harry Reid, who's adjourning the Senate with no vote to extend the Bush tax cuts when businesses in Nevada are hurting, and this hurts Nevada and America further. Meanwhile, we've got Colbert testifying in Congress today in character. This is a mockery. And my question to you on this first series is, how bad is it when you walk the streets of Nevada, and what are people saying about Harry Reid? What are you hearing out there?
Well, first of all, let's set the record straight. We just increased in our unemployment rate from 14.3% to 14.4%, and that doesn't include those who are on, who have just quit looking for jobs or are underemployed. If we factor those figures in, we're at 21%.
Wow.
It's dismal here in the state. People understand that, and we're not interested in all of these things that Harry Reid is trying to promote as things that he's done that are good for Nevada. What people here in Nevada are concerned about is our homes and our jobs. When we call our adult children, my husband and I, when we say, how are you doing, what we really are asking is, are you still able to make the mortgage payment, and do you still have your job? It's dismal. We have businesses closing. We are not looking at anything that looks like recovery. I guess you saw where they're touting that the recession is over and that we have a jobless recovery. Well, that's the biggest oxymoron that you can think of when you're suffering from at least 1 out of 4 people in our state are suffering from either mortgage foreclosure, bankruptcies, or unemployment. We don't see a recovery here.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's incredible. But I know that you are running to fix those things and help Nevada out. And, you know, what I think that people want, and I think what you have been speaking to, are things like lower taxes, less regulation, and more freedom. Isn't that what your campaign is all about?
Well, of course, people want solutions, and they don't see Harry Reid as having any solutions. In fact, he's creating more problems with these pushes for amnesty and cap and trade and not making the tax cuts permanent. What will actually solve these problems are pretty simple. We need to cut back on the spending, we need to pay back on the debt, and we need to take back our economy by repealing such terrible policies as Obamacare.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Now, I want to get into that in 1 second, but first, I want to get your reaction. I've got a couple minutes. I got to say some things here to some of the things that Harry Reid has said. Now, people have to understand, this isn't just a senator. This is the leader of the Senate. This is the guy who's working directly with President Obama to pass the Obama agenda. And I want to say, and some of the quotes that Harry Reid has recently said, these are within the last 3-4 years, most of them even a little bit more recently than that. And I just want to get your reaction to it and people's reaction to it. Now, What he has said is, quote, this war is lost in response to the Iraq war. He also called General Petraeus as, quote unquote, dishonest. He called a Senate candidate in Delaware who's going up against, our person, Christine O'Donnell over there, quote, my pet. That's Chris Coons that he's talking about. He also said, this was quoted in Game Change, that Obama is, quote unquote, a light-skinned African American with, quote unquote, no Negro dialect unless he wanted to have one. Then Harry Reid, another quote, said that I don't know, quote, I don't know how anyone of Hispanic heritage can be a Republican. Then he also called Senator Gillibrand, the Democrat from New York senator, the quote unquote hottest member. And then he also said, quote, February more than 700,000 jobs were lost, so we've made great progress, unquote. He also then went on to say, quote, men when they're out of work tend to become abusive. And then he also said that, quote, when they were talking about people, citizens, voters, Americans, the people that give you your job, Harry Reid, when they were visiting the Capitol, he said, quote, you could literally smell the tourists coming into the Capitol, unquote. And then, last but not least, he said, quote, I had nothing to do with these unemployment figures. Now, my question is, if you had nothing to do with it, Harry Reid, as the leader of the Senate, as the guy who's working with Obama, why do we need you? And I'll go on. But listen, this is Harry Reid who engineered the stimulus. He's not just a vote. He is the engineer of these things. He is the leader of the Senate. He is the person that gets it done. And remember that he also helped engineer the Obama-Reid healthcare takeover that Sharron just talked about. And they forced it through the Senate. They forced it down the American people's throat. And remember, last Christmas, he kept the Senate in session on Christmas Eve to get this vote. And Sharron, I think that's what you're talking about. That this man has said some of the craziest things I've ever heard any politician say out there. But it's not just what he says, it's what he's doing to America and to Nevada.
You're exactly right, John. And, he calls me extreme. These are extreme things that he's saying. This is talk that is so outside of the mainstream of America that most of this he needs to apologize for, especially to our military. His words have consequences, and they hurt our military when he said that this war was lost and when he called their general dishonest. He needs to apologize for that. People all over America really do understand this, not just in Nevada, but this has become a national race, and that's why I've been making the appeal that if Harry Reid says he needs $25 million to run this campaign, I need 1 million people with $25 to go to SharronAngle.com, and I've been asking people to help me here in Nevada defeat this man for the very reasons that you just mentioned. He has not just voted for these things. He has promoted them, he has pushed them, and he's made the deals with our taxpayer dollars to push these things through. And we need to right now band together as a nation, and that's why I'm asking people to send that $25 donation to SharronAngle.com and help me defeat Harry Reid.
I love it. We're talking to Sharron Angle here on the John D. Villarreal Show on the Conservative New Media Radio Network. A couple more quick questions for you, Sharron. Now, people know that you're for smaller government, less taxes, more freedom, and more jobs, but specifically, what can you tell us about your program that's going to help the good people of Nevada get back to work and get that state and America back on track again? What do you want to do in there?
Well, when we talk about the federal government, we talk about creating a climate as a senator for businesses to create jobs all over the nation. When jobs are created all over the nation, that also will create jobs in Nevada because, as you know, we have discretionary money that comes from other states into our economy that boosts our economy. So getting those economic engines running again by creating that climate of lower taxes and less government regulation. First things first, let's repeal those policies like Obamacare and let's make sure that the tax cuts are permanent. That will give a climate once more for businesses who are holding back because they can't see through this fog of taxation and regulation to have some confidence in government that for the next few years they're going to know what the rules are so that they can go ahead and spend that $2 trillion creating jobs that they're holding back now. We need to look at these policies and get them not only repealed, but we need to, going forward, give some confidence not only businessmen, but the people of America, that we're going to go back to our constitutional roots, and we're going to look at spending in terms of prioritizing those things that government really should be involved in and government shouldn't be involved in, and of course things that the states would do better. We're cheering for Arizona and Missouri for taking their 10th Amendment rights and taking back some of the things that the federal government has really failed to do in those states. So those are the kinds of things that I have been promoting, that we get back to a constitutional foundation, that we cut the spending, that we pay back on the debt, and that we repeal these impossible policies that have really crushed our economy in the first place. And then by doing those kinds of things, we will see the Nevada economy rebound, but we also need to look forward to putting in policies that encourage people to come to Nevada, to a resource-rich state where they could develop mining possibilities, as well as becoming an energy capital of the nation. So we're really looking forward to inviting people to our beautiful state to invest and to build businesses here.
I think that's a great program. I think that's something that the voters of Nevada are really going to like, and we need to get people back to work. And I know that, people like, Mr. Wynn out there has really spoken out against, Steve Wynn has really spoken out against the Obama administration. I think he's looking to get people back on the strip, get people back to work in Nevada. And now let's talk about this race. This race is basically essentially tied. And we know that the vicious attacks have been coming in, and that more are going to come right now. Before that you had a lead, and then Harry Reid got a lead, but now you've rallied back here, and I see that people like Nikki Haley's come out here, and women are rallying to you. The Tea Party, I think, is really led by women, and they're rallying to you. And let's talk about that. What is it going to take for you to win, and how do people get involved in your campaign to help you go over the top? Because this is such a big win, not just for Nevada, but for really the Tea Party, really for normal Americans out there that say, you know what, maybe I can run someday, or maybe someone can represent me, and definitely for America to get the leader of the Democrats and the Senate who works with Obama so closely out of there. How do we and the people out there help you win?
Well, there are so many ways, but the first way, of course, is if you live in Nevada, you need to for Sharron Angle. Any other vote is a vote for Harry Reid. If you vote none of the above or for any other candidate but Sharron Angle, you're really voting for Harry Reid. So you have to vote positively for Sharron Angle. That's the first thing. If you're out of state, you need to encourage your friends and family that live in Nevada to vote, but also you can send money to SharronAngle.com and help us get that message out to the voters here in Nevada by just going online, SharronAngle.com, SharronAngle.com, and sending money to get that message out. The third thing, and this is something that's so exciting, is so we have people from all over the United States saying, I want to spend some time in Nevada walking door to door and making phone calls. Go on SharronAngle.com and volunteer to help our campaign. We're enlisting people from all over the United States to help in this effort, and that's another way that you can do it. So there's three ways. Encourage your friends to vote in Nevada.
Okay.
Send money.
Yep.
And volunteer.
Wow.
At SharronAngle.com.
I love it. That's fantastic. Sharron, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this. You've got Sharron Angle there for Senate, who's running against Harry Reid. I am John D. Villarreal, reporting for the John D. Villarreal radio show and for Conservative New Media, and we will see you next time.
And there we go. That's our exclusive interview with Sharron Angle. And you can find that on YouTube. Just type in Conservative New Media. We've got the chat room going crazy. Rachel from Illinois says that Reid's going to hit up Vegas when Sharron Angle retires him. We love that. Hey, on the flip side of this break, we're going to talk to Peter Ferrara of the American Spectator. We're going to play a little bit of our interview with him. He had a great piece this week, and we're going to take maybe your calls very, very quickly. You're listening to John D. Villarreal on the Conservative New Media Radio Network.